Hello everyone and welcome back to The Lost Planeswalker. You're here with me, Jesse, The Lost Planeswalker, and today I'm going to show off a deck using a new Phyrexia All Will Be One card. I call this one Equip the Army. So, first off, let's look at the deck. We have 100 cards. Now it's not legal, but let's look at that error. This card is not technically legal until official pre-release date for Jor Kadeen, first Gold Warden. So, everything's good. This is just, it came out for the set releases very soon. And, yeah. So this was a little pricier. I do have a couple cards in the deck that were more expensive, but I thought they'd be really fun to play with. And the Salt Sum is actually pretty good. Right about 10 below the average there. So that's a nice Salt Sum. But, yeah, let's dive in. Let's look at this commander and whatnot. So, here we go. We have Jor Kadeen, first Gold Warden, red and a white, legendary creature, human rebel. Trample. When Jor Kadeen, first Gold Warden, attacks, it gets +X/+X until end of turn, where X is the number of equipped creatures you control. Then, if Jor Kadeen's power is 4 or greater, draw a card. This was one of the first cards spoiled with Phyrexia All Will Be One, and it kind of sat in my mind for a while, and when we came around to equip, I thought, you know what, this would be a really cool card because it cares about the number of equipped creatures. Another thing that drew me to it is that you draw cards off it if his power is 4 or greater. So, I mean, a 2-mana card, you come out, maybe equip it the next turn, the same turn, and you can just start building up his power and swinging into your opponents. Commander damage could be a legit win con if this is the guy you're going with. So, yeah, let's dive into some of those cards. So, starting off, we have Ancestral Blade, 1 and a white, artifact equipment. When Ancestral Blade enters the battlefield, create a 1/1 white soldier creature token. Then attach Ancestral Blade to it. Equipped creature gets +1/+1, and equip for 1. This already works with our commander. It comes into the battlefield with something equipped to it, so this is really great. Next, we got a Commander All-Star Arcane Signet. Then we got Battle Bone. 2. Artifact equipment, living weapon. Equipped creature gets +1/+1 and has vigilance and lifelink. So the living weapon means that a germ token will be attached to it as it enters the battlefield, a 0/0 germ. So yeah, this is pretty good. Next we got Blackblade Reforged, 2 mana artifact. Legendary artifact equipment. Equipped creature gets +1/+1 for each land you control. Equip legendary creature for 3 or equip a regular creature for 7. Bloodforged Battle Axe. Single mana. Artifact equipment. Equipped creature gets +2/+0. Whenever equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, create a token that's a copy of Bloodforged Battle Axe. Equip for 2. This is a really neat card because with Jor Kadeen, you attack, deal some combat damage, make another one. Now you got more equipment to attach to your creatures. Bonesaw. 0 mana to cast. Artifact equipment. Equipped creature gets +1/+0 and only 1 to equip. Good to play on turn 1 or whatnot. Boros Signet. 2 generic. You pay 1 and add a red and a white. We can use this to cast our commander. That's pretty cool. Brass Knuckles. 4 mana. Artifact equipment. When you cast a spell, copy it. Equipped creature has double strike as long as 2 or more equipment are attached to it. Citizen's Crowbar. 1 and a white. Artifact equipment. When Citizen's Crowbar enters battlefield, create a 1/1 green and white citizen creature token, then attach Citizen's Crowbar to it. Equipped creature gets +1/+1 and has white, tap, sacrifice Citizen's Crowbar, destroy target artifact or enchantment, and equip for 2. This not only helps our commander out, but we can use it to help destroy a pesky artifact or enchantment on our opponent's board. Colossal Hammer. Single mana to play, artifact equipment, equipped creature is +10/+10, and loses flying, and it equips for 8. Which is a lot, but we have a lot of ways in this deck to equip for cheaper. Next, we have Commander Sphere, another Commander All-Star. 3 generic artifact. Tap to add 1 color of your commander's color identity. Sack it to draw a card. Embercleave. 4 red. Legendary artifact equipment. Flash. This spell costs 1 less to cast for each attacking creature you control. When Embercleave enters the battlefield, attach it to a target creature you control. Equipped creature gets +1/+1 and has double strike and trample. One of my favorite equipment of all time. This can really pack a punch. Hammer of Nazan. 4 generic. Legendary artifact equipment. When Hammer of Nazan or another equipment enters the battlefield under your control, you may attach that equipment to a target creature you control. Equipped creature gets +2/+0 and has indestructible. Equip for 4. This is one of the best equipment/artifact we have in our deck. Cauldron Complete. 7 mana. Legendary artifact equipment. Living weapon. Indestructible. Equipped creature gets +5/+5 and has first strike, trample, indestructible, haste. And whenever this creature deals combat damage to a creature, exile that creature. Equip for 7. This is be another great equipment we're going to be able to put on to one of our creatures and really dominate the board. Lightning Greaves, 2 generic, artifact equipment. Equipped creature has haste and shroud. Equip for 0. Luxodon Warhammer, 3 generic, artifact equipment. Equipped creature gets +3/+0 and has trample and lifelink. Equip for 3. One of the ways in this deck we can gain some life back. Mask of Memory, 2 generic, artifact equipment. When equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, you may draw 2 cards. If you do, discard a card. Equip for 1. There's not a lot of card draw in red or white, but this is a great equipment to help us out. Nettle Cyst, 3 generic, artifact equipment, living weapon. Equipped creature gets +1/+1 for each artifact and or enchantment you control. Equip for 2. This is going to be super powerful in our deck because we're playing a lot of artifacts. Shadow Spear, 1 mana, legendary artifact equipment. Equipped creature gets +1/+1 and has trample and lifelink. 1. Permanents your opponents control lose hexproof and indestructible until end of turn. Equip for 2. This is a sneaky card that also is going to help us gain a lot of life. Soul Ring, don't need to explain it, it's Commander All-Star. Swiftfoot Boots, 2 generic, artifact equipment. Equipped creature has hexproof and haste. Equip for 1. Similar to Lightning Greaves, but just a little bit worse. Sword of Vengeance, 3 generic, artifact equipment. Equipped creature gets +2/+0 and has first strike, vigilance, trample, and haste. Equip for 3. This is one of the coolest equipment, and I think it's really great. Sword of the Animist, 2 generic, legendary artifact equipment. Equipped creature gets +1/+1. Whenever equipped creature attacks, you may search your library for a basic land card, put it onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle. Equip for 2. This can be a great way to get some of our lands onto the battlefield so we can play more spells. The Reaver Cleaver, 2 and a red, legendary artifact equipment. Equipped creature gets +1/+1 and has trample. Whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player or planeswalker, create that many treasure tokens. Equip for 3. And finally, we have Thran Power Suit, 2 generic, artifact equipment. Equipped creature gets +1/+1 for each aura or equipment attached to it, and has ward. Equip for 2. This is a really interesting card from the Brothers War, and I really like it because you can either go 2 routes with this deck. You can equip a lot of creatures, or maybe it's late game and you re-equip all of your stuff onto your commander, and it just becomes very, very powerful. With the artifacts through, let's go and look at some of those creatures. Starting off with our first creature, we have Akiri Fearless Voyager, 1 red-white, legendary creature core warrior. Whenever you attack a player with 1 or more equipped creatures, draw a card. Single white, you may unattach an equipment from a creature you control. If you do, tap that creature and it gains indestructible until end of turn. Aki Battle Squad, 5 and a red, creature goblin, samurai. Whenever 1 or more modified creatures you control attack, untap all modified creatures you control. After this combat phase, there's an additional combat phase. This ability triggers only once each turn. Equipment auras you control are counted as modifications. Arden Intrepid Archaeologist, 2 and a white, legendary creature core scout. At the beginning of combat on your turn, you may attach any number of aura and equipment you control to target permanent or player. Armored Sky Hunter, 3 and a white, creature cat knight. Flying. Whenever Armored Sky Hunter attacks, look at the top 6 cards of your library. You may put an aura or equipment card among them onto the battlefield. If an equipment was put onto the battlefield this way, you may attach it to a creature you control. Put the rest of those cards on the bottom of your library in a random order. Astro Bearer of Blades, 2 red-white, legendary creature human warrior. Whenever Astro Bearer of Blades enters the battlefield, look at the top 7 cards of your library. You may reveal an equipment or vehicle from among them and put them into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. And then, equipment you control have equip for 1, which is great. Or, vehicles you control have crew 1. Brass Squire, 3. Artifact creature Mirror. Tap, attach target equipment you control to a target creature you control. This is going to make it so our equipment are free to attach. Brunar Battlehammer, 2 red-white. Legendary creature Dwarf Warrior. Each creature you control gets +2/+0 for each equipment attached to it. You may pay 0 rather than pay the equip cost of the first equip ability you activate each turn. Not only is this a free equip, but it's going to boost up the power of all of our other equipped creatures. Champion of the Flame, 1 in a red, creature human warrior. Trample. Champion of the Flame gets +2/+2 for each aura and equipment attached to it. It's a 1/1. It can get really big with all the other equipment we're going to attach to it. And using a card like Arden Intrepid Archaeologist is going to mean we can equip everything we want to this creature all at once and it be incredibly big. Cloud Steel Kern, 2 and a white. Artifact creature equipment Kern. Flying. Equipped creature has flying and you can't lose the game and your opponents can't win the game. Reconfigure for 5. This is one of the coolest equipment, and it's going to make it so even if we're in a tough spot, if we can equip this, well, we can't lose. Danithic Carpazin Paragon, 2 and a white. Legendary creature, Human Knight. First strike, Vigilance, Lifelink. Aura and equip spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. Jor-Kadeen, the Prevailer, 3 red white. Legendary creature, Human Warrior. First strike, Metalcraft. Creatures you control get +3/+0 as long as you control 3 or more artifacts, and it's a 5/4. So this is a co-commander, I guess, but it's actually just another version of our commander, and his ability is pretty great. He's going to buff up all of our creatures as long as there are 3 or more artifacts on the board, which is going to work perfectly with the commander we already have for this deck. Komaru Battle Armor, 2 and a red. Artifact creature, equipment, dog. Menace. Equipped creature gets +2/+2 and has Menace. When Karamu Blade Armor or equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, go to each creature that player controls. Reconfigure for 4. Lion Sash, 1 and a white. Artifact creature, equipment, cat. White, exile target card from a graveyard. If it was a permanent card, put a +1/+1 counter on Lion Sash. Equipped creature gets +1/+1 for each +1/+1 counter on Lion Sash. Reconfigure for 2. Lizard Blades, 1 and a red. Artifact creature, equipment, lizard. Double strike. Equipped creature has double strike. Reconfigure for 2. Lauren of the Third Path, 2 and a white. Legendary creature, Human Artificer. Vigilance. When Lauren of the Third Path enters the battlefield, destroy up to 1 target artifact or enchantment. Tap. You and target opponent each draw a card. Pure Steel Paladin. White, white. Creature, Human Knight. Whenever an equipment enters the battlefield under your control, you may draw a card. Metalcraft. Equipment you control have equip 0 as long as you control 3 or more artifacts. This is one of the best all-star cards in this deck, and in a lot of other formats. That Metalcraft ability is very powerful. Rabbit Battery. Single red. Artifact creature, equipment, rabbit. Haste. Equipped creature gets +1/+1 and has haste. Reconfigure for a red. Rayav Master Smith, red and a white. Hey, if you didn't see, I built a deck around this card last week to show off double strike and first strike. So I'll leave those here in the video and maybe check them out. Whenever a creature you control that's enchanted or equipped attacks, that creature gains double strike until end of turn. This card was good then and is especially great in this deck. Scram, Senior Edificer, 1 and a white. Legendary creature, Dwarf Advisor. Whenever you cast an aura, equipment, or vehicle spell, draw a card. Stonehaven Outfitter, 1 and a white. Equipped creatures you control get +1/+1. Whenever an equipped creature you control dies, draw a card. Stone Hewer Giant, 3 white white. Creature, Giant Warrior. Vigilance, 1 and a white. Tap, search your library for an equipment card, put it onto the battlefield, attach it to a creature you control, then shuffle your library. Tiana, Ship's Caretaker, 3 red white. Legendary creature, Angel Artificer. Flying First Strike. Whenever an aura or equipment you control is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, you may return this card to your owner's hand at the beginning of the next end step. This is going to make it so if our opponents remove one of our pesky pieces of equipment, well, we get it back. Togo, Goblin Warsmith, 2 and a red. Legendary creature, Goblin Artificer. Whenever a land enters a battlefield under your control, create a colorless equipment artifact named Rock. That's funny. With equipped creature has 1, tap, sacrifice rock. This creature deals 2 damage to any target, and equip for 1. This is going to be great because even if we aren't drawing into our equipment, we can just make rocks. Tori Diavant, Fury Rider, 1, red, red, white. Legendary creature, Human Knight. Vigilance and Trample. Whenever Tori D. Avidant Fury Rider attacks, all other attacking creatures you control get +1/+1 until end of turn. Other red attacking creatures you control gain trample until end of turn. Untap each other white attacking creature you control. This is going to make those last swings so much more powerful. And lastly, we have Weapons Trainer, red and a white. Creature, Human Soldier Ally. Other creatures you control get +1/+1 as long as you control an equipment. Seems pretty good. And Relith, Soul of Steel, 1 red white. Legendary creature, Human Warrior. Trample. When Relith Soul of Steel attacks, draw a card for each aura or equipment attached to it. This is going to be a great card to make sure our hands are always full. Now, let's take a look at that enchantment we included, because we only got one. Fighter class, red and a white. Gain the next level as a sorcery to add its ability. When fighter class enters a battlefield, search your library for an equipment card, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle. Level 2, 1 red white. Equipped abilities you activate cost 2 less to activate. 3 red white. Level 3. Whenever a creature you control attacks, up to one target creature blocks it this combat if able. We want to make sure that we can get rid of our opponent's stuff. And that level 3 ability, which I don't think is going to be the most effective, could be very powerful if we're playing against a deck that has a lot of little creatures. Overall, I think Fighter Class is a great add. Now, let's look at the instance I decided to include in this deck. Starting off, we have Abrade, 1 in a red. Instant, choose one. Abrade deals 3 damage to target creature, or destroy target artifact. This is a great card to get rid of an artifact our opponents control, or to just deal 3 damage to a target creature that is giving us an issue. Akroma's Will, 3 in a white. Instant, choose one. If you control a commander, as you cast a spell, you may choose both. Creatures you control gain flying, vigilance, and have double strike until end of turn. And if we have our commander, we can also choose creatures you control gain lifelink, indestructible, and protection from all colors until end of turn. This is pretty versatile because you can use whichever one's going to help you best, but if you have your commander, you can just get the best of both worlds. Boros Charm, red and a white. Instant, choose one. Boros Charm deals 4 damage to target player or planeswalker. Permanents you control gain indestructible until end of turn, or target creature gains double strike until end of turn. If we're swinging in with our commander and we're hoping to kill somebody with commander damage, that last ability could really help us out. Chaos Warp, 2 in a red. Instant, the owner of target permanent shuffles it into their library, then reveals the top card of their library. If it's a permanent card, they put it onto the battlefield. This can be really helpful to get rid of something maybe we don't need and get something better, or remove something from an opponent's board, but with a slight chance they might get it back. Deflecting Palm, red and a white. Instant, the next time a source of your choice would deal damage to you this turn, prevent that damage. If damage is prevented this way, Deflecting Palm deals that much damage to its source's controller. This can be a really sneaky way to stay in the game, or even killing an opponent with their own creature. Generous Gift, 2 in a white. Instant, destroy target permanent, its controller creates a 3/3 green elephant creature token. And lastly, we have Path to Exile and Swords of Plowshares. Path to Exile reads, single white, instant, exile target creature. Its controller may search their library for a basic land, put it onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle. And then Swords of Plowshare reads, single white, instant, exile target creature. Its controller gains life equal to its power. Both of these are extremely powerful because they exile creatures and give your opponent something in reward, but probably not equal to what we just took from them. Now let's look at some lands. Usually I like to keep it pretty basic, but there was a couple in here I wanted to add. So we got Battlefield Forge, land, tap it to add a colorless, or tap it to add a red or white. And Battlefield Forge deals 1 damage to you. Command Tower, land, tap it to add 1 mana of any color in your commander's color identity. Inventor's Fair, legendary land. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you control 3 or more artifacts, you gain a life. Tap it to add a colorless to your mana pool. 4 and tap. Sacrifice Inventor's Fair. Search your library for an artifact card, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle your library. Activate this ability only if you control 3 or more artifacts. We got 15 mountains and 16 plains, and then finally, we have Spectator Seeding. Spectator Seeding enters the battlefield tapped unless you have 2 or more opponents. Now let's look at that single planeswalker I put in this deck. Nahiri, Heir of the Ancients. 2 red-white. Legendary planeswalker Nahiri. +1, you create a 1/1 white core creature token. You may attach an equipment you control to it. -2, look at the top 6 cards of your library. You may reveal a warrior or equipment card from among them and put that into your hand. Then put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. And -3, Nahiri, Heir of the Ancients, deals damage to a target creature or planeswalker equal to twice the number of equipment you control. Well, she's in this deck for good reason. She really cares about equipment, and she's going to be a great add. And lastly, let's look at those 3 sorcery I decided to include in this deck. First off, we have Jeska's Will. 2 in a red, sorcery, choose one. If you control a commander, as you cast a spell, you may choose both. Add red for each card in target opponent's hand, or exile the top 3 cards of your library and you may play them this turn. This is a devastating card, and it is worth $20 and going up. It was down a little bit, but it's going to go up, and it's going to keep going up because it's just that powerful. Open the Armory. 1 in a white. Sorcery. Search your library for an aura or equipment, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle your library. And finally, we have Rip Apart. Red and a white. Sorcery. Choose one. Rip Apart deals 3 damage to target creature or planeswalker, or destroy target artifact or enchantment. There's not a lot of enchantment destruction in white and red, so this is very powerful. And yeah, that's it. You know, we can look at some deck stats. You know, we got a lot of our mana producers are even, and we've just a little bit more white than we do red, with 34 white and 28 red. and that mana curve is right around 2.71, and I like that. You know, a lot of 2-drops, a lot of 3-drops. So, yeah, this is a really, really fun deck. You know, we got a lot of humans and warriors, obviously. And, yeah, we have a good number of creature tokens, but that's it. So, thank you so much for watching. I hope you liked this deck. Maybe you learned a thing or two or found a card you want to put into your deck you play regularly, or maybe you're inspired and want to build this one. I will link the deck build in the whatever it is down below, so you can access it. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this, you know, please subscribe. I try to do these at least once a week, normally on Wednesday, but this one's coming out on Friday because I really want to post a video talking about Phyrexia All Will Be One. And yeah, that's it. So thank you for watching. And if you want to help me out in another way other than subscribing, you know, please leave a like and comment down below, and I really appreciate it. So, and as always, I'll see you later, Planeswalkers.